Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Bradley, and in today's video we will be going over my spring reading list. To firstly apologize for any dog barking or tippy tappies that you will most likely hear throughout the video. They do not understand quiet, but it's okay. We love them anyways. I have both a chunk of fiction and nonfiction books, so I will have some timestamps down below in the description box if you are not interested in seeing one or the other. Go ahead and grab a drink. I'm going to be sipping on a little Zoa, and let's get into it. So typically I like to have 6 books within kind of like a season or a quarter of the year. Normally I do 3 fiction and 3 nonfiction, but this month, or not this month, it is this month, but I have 2 books for April that I'm working through because I'm technically halfway through both of them. So starting out with some nonfiction, this month I'm going to be focusing on the 12-week year as well as the Total Money Makeover. So the 12-week year, I feel like the title is pretty self-explanatory along with the Total Money Makeover, but it's essentially a goal-setting book that helps you break down goals from taking a year into that 12 months into a 12-week formula. It kind of talks about the normal statistics of companies and people being really motivated at the beginning of the year and then really motivated at the end of the year to meet those goals and those quotas, whatever they need to do. And so you take a chunk of that and now you break it down into fourths, and now you're really motivated at the beginning of those 12 weeks and the end of those 12 weeks, and then you redo it all over again. So you keep that momentum and that motivation because you're constantly kind of making progress throughout your goals. So that is the 12-week year. Along with that, this April, I want to finish off the month finishing the Total Money Makeover. So I am about halfway, a little over halfway through with this one. I started it in January and just kind of lost some momentum. Like I said, I feel like the title's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty much about getting some control over your finances, how to just mentally just decide that you're ready to get out of debt. It is a debt book, so if you don't have debt, then you're probably not going to care too much about it. Dave Ramsey has some other books that are more focused on budgeting and tips and guidelines for that. So it is about debt. If you don't have debt, don't recommend. If you do have debt and you don't want debt, highly recommend so far. So that is the Total Money Makeover. Keeping with the nonfiction, I'll do the fiction later. The nonfiction I have for May is The Power of One More. I honestly don't know too much about this book. This book was recommended to me by a friend, but I think that what I'm assuming it's about is that kind of like pushing yourself past those limiting beliefs and getting yourself to just do a little bit more than what you were expecting you're capable of. If that's not what this book is about, please let me know and in the comments, or I'll let you know. But yeah, that is what I'm assuming The Power of One More is. And then for the month of June, I have Becoming by Michelle Obama. This is a memoir. I am not typically a memoir fan. I very rarely pick them up, but I have been very intrigued about hers, and I feel like an empowering memoir of a woman would be very nice to finish off this season. From what I know about this book is it's basically her whole story in her words, on her terms, from her childhood, growing up in Chicago, becoming a mother, acting as First Lady, and all of it. So I'm looking forward to this one. And that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. Moving on to the fiction books. My first book that I want to read this month for April, my fiction book for April, is Bloodmarked by, I'm gonna butcher all these names, guys. I'm a teacher and I butcher all my students' names, and it's a thing. It's a trait that you just have to have. So Tracy Deonn. This is the second book in her series. The first one is called Legendborn. So I don't necessarily want to read the synopsis of this because I feel like it will give away some of the things that are pretty important in the first book in Legendborn. But it's essentially about a female named Bree who has some magical powers, and she goes off to college and she's trying to discover the past, her ancestry, why she has them, how to control them, and she finds herself in an even bigger plot and being able to make even bigger waves. So without saying too much to ruin the first book, 5 out of 5. That was my favorite read last year, and I was very excited to be getting this book. That is Bloodmarked. I will read the synopsis of the last 2 books that I'm planning on reading this quarter. I have Darling Girl by Liz Michalski. It says right here, a novel of Peter Pan. So, I mean, Darling, the Darlings, it is book of the month, and I just had a feeling that it would be about Peter Pan. So, Darling Girl. Here's the synopsis. Life is looking up for Holly Darling, granddaughter of Wendy. Yes, that Wendy. She's running a successful skincare company. Her son Jack is happy and healthy, and the tragedy of her past is well behind her. Until she gets a call that her daughter, Eden, who has been in a coma for nearly a decade, has gone missing from the estate where she's been long tucked away. And worst of all, Holly knows who must be responsible. Peter Pan, who is not only very real, but very dangerous. Eden has a rare condition, a secret that Holly is desperate to protect, especially from Eden's half-brother, Jack, who knows nothing about his sister or the crucial role she plays in his life. Holly has no one to turn to. Her mother, Jane, is the only other person in the world who knows that Peter is more than a story, but she refuses to accept that he is not the hero she's always imagined. Desperate, Holly enlists the help of Christopher Cook, a notorious ex-soldier, in the hopes of rescuing Eden before she loses both her children. Darling Girl brings all the magic of the classic Peter Pan story to the present, while also exploring the dark underpinnings of fairy tales, grief, aging, sacrifice, motherhood, and just how far we will go to protect those we love. That is Darling Girl. Last but not least, I have Lore by Alexandra Bracken. This is a special edition cover that I got a while ago, so that's why it kind of looks different and fancy, but it's typically the one with the Medusa head and all the snakes. So let's read the synopsis of this one. In modern-day New York, a murderous game is about to begin. The Agon, every 7 years, for 1 week only, Zeus punishes the gods by forcing them to walk the earth as mortals, savagely hunted by the descendants of ancient bloodlines, all eager to kill a god and seize their divine power and immortality. After her family was brutally murdered by a rival line, Lore Perseus fled, turning her back on the Agon's cruel promises of eternal glory. For years, Lore has honored her parents' memory by doing one thing: surviving. For years, she has pushed away dark thoughts of revenge, until now. As the next game dawns, Lore finds Athena gravely wounded on her doorstep. The goddess offers her an alliance ship against their mutual enemy and a way to leave the Agon behind forever. But Lor's decision to rejoin the hunt will come at a deadly cost, and may not be enough to stop the rise of a new god with the power to destroy all of humanity. That is Lore. That is my spring reading list this year. If you guys want like a summarized video after I finish all the books and hear my ratings and stuff, let me know. If they're favorites, then they'll probably be in a future video anyways. But if you would like to hear about them, whether they're favorites or not, I wouldn't mind doing that as like a little wrap-up video at the end of the season. And I hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what your ratings are. Please no spoilers. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.